Sometimes listening to our own discernment and following our intuition can be challenging when it involves people who we care about, those who are closest to us, who we thought we can trust, and really seeing them for who they truly are in the circumstances around us for what it truly is. It can be disappointing coming to the realization that those around you are wearing a mask and have gone through great lengths trying to erase you or remove you in order to live your life. There was a group some years ago I walked away from, had no interest of being involved after seeing so much underhanded atrocities, weak minded, and cowardly behaviors from this particular group. People who, at one point, I would consider friends or even family, extended family, sibling, or, a brother, a sister type thing. And once I realized that they had been infiltrated by Luciferians, literally, and infiltrated by agents that was there to create havoc and chaos and keep confusion and division at play, I stepped away from this group, organization, fraternity, and just wanted to live a peaceful, normal life. But before I did so, there was one particular person, several, but one in particular, who wanted to be me, was trying to take on my mannerisms, my characteristics, was mimicking and copying and playing in my face in real time at different events. Um, this person would mimic literally my natural characteristics and, you know, the way I interacted with people. And I would notice it, I really didn't play into it. But this thing would really catch on like wildfire. And this person, I didn't know was really working behind the scenes. I did, but I ignored it because there were so many red flags and so many different instances where this person tried to move me out the way and be me. But again, I didn't feed into it because I didn't really take the time to examine this person's mind state and whether or not this person had issues. I recognized it, but the more I seen this person do certain things, I just decided to move away. I had no idea that this individual, who I called a friend or a brother, would take it as far as they did and work behind the scenes and, try to be me and get with exes and, orchestrate this whole conspiracy to move me out the way and try to replace me to the degree and an extent, and even trying to, you know, shadow ban my accounts to keep the truth from coming out and sending so many flying monkeys and recruits to prevent me from gaining clarity and putting the pieces of the puzzles together and surrounding every new potential partner and those with resources, because this individual is one of them dudes that sleep on another woman's couch and use women for their resources and having a roof over their head. And so when you put this combination together on how far these people went and the fact that, it's been communicated, they also dabble in low vibrational energy manipulation and practices, messing with various entities. It's making sense now. It's making sense now how far these devils have gone, trying to move me out the way, stop all my opportunities and blessings, take it for themselves, and try to be me. The energy harvesting, trying to live in my skin and take on my personality and characteristics. All of this stuff has been taking place for several years from people around me that, I knew there were red flags, but I didn't want to feed into it in that way, to that degree. And yet I'm always talking about following your heart, listening to your intuition and discernment. And the divine showed me these people for who they truly were. Some of it I ignored, and some of it the divine was guiding me and leading me in a way that they wanted to raise me up and consciousness, but also developing that bond with them. And so many times I didn't ignore it, and I asked specifically about certain people um, who I had a connection to, but had walked away from. The divine sometimes would, give me certain answers and certain clarity, and another times steered me away. And all of this has been a part of my growing process, my awakening, and building my bond with the divine. But these individuals have lied and gone through great lengths, taking out life insurance policies, trying to move me out the way, trying to cover up all the atrocities, interfering in my love life, surrounding new partners, creating all type of stories and lies, making it seem like I really want to be a part of their crew, their network, their group, when I've been walked away from their sinister, corrupt organization. These individuals are sick. These people wear a mask on the surface and they mimic and copy normal behavior. And you would never know that these people that you let around you are suffering from mental imbalance, jealousy, envy, hatred, having a God complex, wanting to be important, wanting to sell people on a dream, partaking in all type of substances. And they use these tactics to derail people, to get people caught up in their group, to sell them on a dream, on an illusion. And they use their buddy system, their network, those who weasel their way with titles and accolades in various positions throughout the community and society. And they continuously abuse their so-called authority in these positions to get people under an illusion. These are real mimickers and copycats. It's making sense to me now. It's the people that was closest to me, people that I call friend and brother. You heard stories and you've seen Lifetime movies where people want to be somebody so bad that they want to go and sleep with their exes, sleep with the same people that they slept with at one time, or they go back to their small town and corrupt their name and tell all kind of lies, just to try to move them out the way. I realized that's what I have been experiencing now. And it came from particular individuals. I would see them act a certain way. If we were at certain events, family events, where you can let your guard down and be yourself and be amongst those who you can trust, and you dancing and the way you naturally intermingle with people, I saw this individual type trying to take on my same characteristics. I seen this individual trying to move me out the way and replace me and be better, be a better version of me than I am. These devils took for granted that I truly have spiritual gifts and a connection with the divine. They've been going around lying, saying that I'm not tapped in. And I never professed to be this or that until the divine told me to claim my gifts and claim who I am and claim my connection with them. Prior to that, I've always dreamed and hoped and wished for the divine and my ancestors and angels to connect with me. That's something really only my heart's desire for many years, wondering, knowing that I have a greater purpose, but couldn't quite put my finger on why I'm not walking in my true purpose and my true light and my true essence, and knowing that it was something within me that was begging to come out, begging to be born, right? Some type of energy, some type of power within me. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And I thought I was being ignored. My prayers was being ignored. No, I was just being guided, directed by, divine planning and divine timing. And the whole time I got these devils around me, lying, trying to replace me, taking out life insurance, committing fraud in my name, PPP loans and PPP fraud, and life insurance scams, and increasing policies, people that I trusted with certain information, one in particular, so-called brother, so-called friend, who I gave a life insurance policy, an authentic one, just to be able to, take care of expenses just in case something happened, because I used them as a reference, as an emergency reference. But I had been stepped away from the group, from this individual, from these people. And ever since then, they've been working behind the scenes and dabbling into, low vibrational practices and dark demonic energies, and using the group to abuse and misuse trust and honor and their titles in society. These fraternities, these cliques literally have become, the worst nightmare things that, the opposite of what they're supposed to represent. And it took me a while to really accept, to want to accept. I'm always talking about discernment and intuition. And again, it's not that I completely ignored it because it popped in my mind. I'm constantly, putting the pieces together, but the divine was steering me away when I would ask about specific individuals. So I can see how many of you it's frustrating to me trying to get these messages across. And many of you are not letting the light bulb go off about the people around you, your environment. I could see how your environment, your siblings, your family members, mother figures can trick you and wear a mask around you and you not see that you're being manipulated and used. Until we truly come together as Soul Tribe, this is the risk we take being in environments and around people who do not have our best and highest interests at heart. Until we truly connect with those who have no reason to compete or lie or be fake and phony, wear a mask and use us for our resources and siphon our energy, until we come together, we run the risk of people infiltrating our circle, whispering in our ear and lying to us and keeping us divided from our true partners, our true soul tribe, our true potential divine partners. Because in my case, there was people who had proximity to me that I had walked away from a long time ago, but was saying that they cut me off and that I wanted to be a part of them and making people think that they was something to be desired, lying on my name, committing fraud in my name. These people was convincing people to stay away from me, and people who were spiritually gifted, who's supposed to know better, know how to communicate, bypass all the bullshit, was just taking one side and listening to these devils who I had no involvement with, and just going along with them and getting caught up in stuff that they had no business even crossing paths with these devils. But these devils targeted them as well by way of targeting me and trying to keep me isolated. And it's been an ongoing pattern. Y'all following fakes and phonies, copycats. You're allowing yourself to get caught up with people who don't have the vision, who don't hold the keys, who don't have the blueprint. They don't know what direction to go. They're not tapped in with the divine. They mimic and mock normal behavior. These are truly envious, jealous, hateful, stunted in their growth, narcissistic, psychopaths, sociopaths. Truly, right? And their way of manifesting is manipulating and lying and forcing it to be true by the sheer numbers that they have as a cult and as a group and as a gang. They tell the lie, spread the lie, and then they surround and help create the illusion to try to force the illusion, the lie, the fantasy to be real. And if you're none the wiser, and if you're, have unhealthy ego and pride and you don't know how to speak up and communicate, communication should not be a thing, y'all. Reaching out to people and simply communicate. This is stuff we learn in kindergarten. Communicating, asking questions should not be a hindrance. And for the simple fact that I see many of you gifted, spiritually gifted individuals, one of the main things that is the problem is y'all being afraid or haven't learned how to open your mouth and communicate. But you are quick in accepting lies and deceit and having a whole group confront you, tell you one side, and you just run with that. That's a problem, y'all. And then you let these devils convince you to breadcrumb, gaslight, love bomb, and play games and be deceitful too. You take on their mannerisms and become a devil just like them.